we have a new NXT North American champion.
What up, Hawks?
Guys, you know what time it is? NXT. It's our NXT review and reaction. Let's get right into it. NXT started off with Zoe Stark taking on Toni Storm in a grudge match. These two women have had a feud for a while now, and it kind of culminates here with a very solid match from the nice upstart in Zoe Stark and the world traveler, the veteran in Toni Storm. So it's a very good match, very solid. Toni Storm picks up the win with a nice, cool, interesting DDT that she hit at the end, which was pretty cool to get the win. And then at the end, you have Frankie Monet coming out.
Well, you talk about stealing the spotlight and putting it directly
during the celebration of Toni Storm and talking about her, debut next week. So they're really hyping up Frankie Monet. It's the first time actually, second time actually coming out to the ring since she's been in NXT, and it's good stuff. I'm interested to see how they portray her, because she's not, Ty Valkyrie. It's a little bit different. I just want to see how it goes, but it's be interesting to see what happens next week. But it's a good way to jump off her career in NXT off of the back of Toni Storm, winning a big match here.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the first feud that Frankie Monet comes in with her and Toni Storm, I think that's a great way to bring her into NXT. It's a solid feud. Two girls that can really go. Toni Storm's, not the tippity top of NXT, but she's getting there, and it's someone that's very believable and you can get behind. And if Frankie Monet beats her, it's a jumping off point for her. So solid start. Best women's division just got way stronger. NXT, man, it's like Alabama. It's Duke. They just keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah, the influx of talent coming in, it's good stuff. They're always keeping the program alive by recruiting new people. It's pretty much just like a powerhouse football conference. So the next thing on the show, so we'll get into it, is Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell getting like a massage and a spa treatment. And it's interesting because they're getting like massage. They have cucumbers over the face so they can't see. They're getting like temple massages to their head like that. And then the one given to Indy Hartwell is Dexter Lumis. And then they start trashing Dexter Lumis, and because she's obviously upset with Dexter Lumis because Candice LeRae kind of pulling the strings in the background. So Dexter Lumis leaves sad because she says a lot of nasty things about him. But then later on you would find out that Dexter Lumis, that she kind of finds out that Candice LeRae was kind of setting everything up, and that Dexter Lumis still loves her. So the love story continues between Lumis and Indy Hartwell. A little bit creepy, but it is what it is.
It was very Dexter Lumis about everything. It's definitely interesting to see this Lumis and Hartwell connection. We'll see what comes out of this, but it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Now, next thing was a tremendous video package. It's called Prime Target for Karrion Kross and Finn Balor Part 2. This was really good stuff. Now, I want to point out two things that I really enjoyed. Well, one thing from both guys that I really enjoyed and kind of brought a nice level to this was the intensity, not only in what they were saying or how they were saying it, was more, I don't know, maybe it was just the facial movements and the way they were kind of, the mannerisms they were using, especially in the face, to really hype up the intensity between. So you have two different types of intensity here. You have kind of like a stoic intensity with Finn Balor, who is really straight to the point and you feel his seriousness, and you have an intensity from Karrion Kross that's almost at a fever pitch. That's why he makes these interesting kind of grimaces with his face and his eyes, the way they move around. You could just feel the intensity oozing off of both guys in different ways. I thought it was really good. Even brought to another level by the adding of Paul Heyman and the adding of Pat McAfee in there to give perspectives on the match and stuff like that. So it was good. Obviously you had to bring up Roman Reigns. You brought up the Tribal Chief in there as well. So they put him, you're immediately putting him in the same conversation as Roman Reigns.
So smart.
It's exactly, so smart, because it gets a little bit of a rub because Roman Reigns is part of it, right, in that conversation. So I thought it was really good stuff. But again, the camera work, the tremendous intensity, the mannerisms between both guys, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, this had like pay-per-view vibes. It almost felt like it was an NXT takeover, big fight feel. It has all the fixings, everything you want. It just got you hyped for a match that's going to be on a Tuesday for free. So it's unbelievable. But yeah, I'm excited for it. This promo, this video package was, like you said, just amazing and got me way more excited for this match, which the first one wasn't even that great, and I wasn't even that happy about it the first time. But now this package has got me so excited for it. That's probably going to bring my hopes down when it happens. But, I'm excited for it, and I don't think Karrion Kross should drop the belt. I think he needs to win it. And maybe Raw needs Finn, because There's nothing on Raw.
I think SmackDown needs Finn, but I think Raw needs him a little bit more, but I hope they kind of swap somebody from SmackDown over to Raw and then kind of just bring Finn back to SmackDown. Him versus Roman Reigns would be an awesome matchup. So next thing on the show, we had a Bobby Fish promo. Shout out to Bobby Fish for cutting a solid promo, and the way he cut it. But he also, you get some continuity here because this is why he was gone this entire time, and he talks about him having to watch at home just like everybody else did with the Undisputed Era breaking up. Tore his tricep during War Games, so at least you get a little bit of a thread kind of tied up there as to why we were all wondering. I mean, what was his injury? They never said anything as to why he was not there, why he was just, that whole thing went down. He just was the missing man. So
I don't understand why they never told us. They could have just explained to us that unless we missed it. I mean, maybe we just
I guess missed it. Yeah, I guess
I don't know, but like it's pretty dumb that they just didn't explain that Fish tore his tricep in the match, which would have made the match even crazier. Just the fact that dudes were tearing their triceps in the middle of the match.
Yeah, exactly. Now the next thing was Cameron Grimes showing up in a Rolls Royce that he drives himself. I mean, who drives a Rolls Royce like themselves, right? Their own Rolls, like nobody like.
You're driven in one.
Yeah, you're driven in one. Like you get it right, NXT. So he
up a Virgil, damn it.
Yeah, he comes out of the car and he tosses his key, says, "Park this for me," and Jake Atlas is the guy who catches it. So then it causes an issue between Jake Atlas, Cameron Grimes versus Jake Atlas. The match is going on. It's a solid little match, and then you have the $1 Million Man. Well, first off, he starts off in his entrance, Cameron Grimes showing the $1 Million Man like losing a video package of him losing, getting embarrassed and stuff like that from the past, all that stuff. So the match happens. In the end, Ted DiBiase comes out, so he's actually there in the Capitol Wrestling Center, and he distracts Cameron Grimes to get rolled up by Jake Atlas in a very acrobatic distraction roll up. Because these distraction roll ups is just like a really quick, like, oh, I pulled him. This guy catapulted off the ropes and kind of just rolled him up. So I guess shout out to Jake Atlas for pulling that off. Not your average run of the mill distraction roll up.
Wait a minute! Grimes took his eye off the ball. Atlas into the cover. Jake Atlas just pinned Cameron Grimes.
Well, he gets the win, and then the classic laugh from Ted DiBiase, and then Cameron Grimes chases him down, and he's in the limo, and then it's just he gets thwarted by Ted DiBiase once again.
Yeah, shout out to Ted DiBiase. He still has a laugh. He still has that deep voice. Still sounds great. Doesn't look as good, but definitely still sounds great. Good little match here. I mean, I like the feud between him and DiBiase. It's got Cameron Grimes over. Yep. I'm digging it. I'm looking forward to seeing more interactions between the both of them. But I still want to end this up where kind of mentor, student type of thing. We'll see where that goes.
Well, but, I believe they're gonna have like a face-to-face or something next week, like the two of them.
Yeah. So that's something where I want to see them work together because I don't see this being a match. It's not really doesn't pay off as a match, and it needs to be paid off as something else. So he teaches them how to be a $1 million man for real.
Yeah, he does. Next thing on the show was Killian Dane versus Alexander Wolf. So the match has been kind of hyped up because these two guys are from Sanity. They have a lot of, and then you have Drake Maverick kind of like skeptical about his own teammate, whether he's going to turn on him. So the match happens. It's like kind of short, and then you have like a chair spot where Alexander Wolf grabs a chair, is going to hit Killian Dane. Killian Dane hits the crossbody, pins him. Then the celebration begins. Then you have Imperium turning on Alexander Wolf here. So Alexander Wolf ousted from Imperium. I don't really understand why, but I guess I don't know where they're going to go with this.
I don't know. It was it felt random, but I trust in NXT. I trust in the brass there, whatever. I'm sure they'll explain to what's going on going forward. But yeah, it definitely felt kind of out of place and didn't make much sense. But we'll see. I'm sure they'll tie up a loose ends.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Next thing was Pete Dunne interview with Arash Makarzy. Sorry. Yeah, he was the guy who interviewed Adam Cole by poolside a few weeks back. He's interviewing Pete Dunne, and I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of the interview because the questions that were asked and the way he answered them, Pete Dunne, it wasn't heelish. It was just kind of like indifferent.
Whiny. I felt like it was kind of whiny too. It was like indifferent. Like I don't even want to answer these questions. And I'm kind of complained that I beat these guys. You know my style. Like it's like
and I felt like he missed intensity, he missed arrogance, he missed snarkiness, he missed a bunch of different things that he could have used to really bolster up the heel persona that he's using, and I'm the best persona, stuff like that. It was just really,
he's very I don't care.
Basically, it just came off like one of those interviews.
Like I don't know, it felt like I don't know, like he just didn't want to do it, or which makes no sense. So I don't know, it came off strange. I didn't enjoy the whole interview.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it either. It wasn't really all that great. So next thing on the show, we had Legado del Fantasma taking on Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa, and I'm assuming the winners of this would eventually get, the title shot against MSK in 2 weeks. In the end, Legado del Fantasma get the win because of the Grizzly Young veterans distracting and causing Ciampa and Thatcher to lose. So Legado del Fantasma in 2 weeks will face MSK for those tag team titles, and then Ciampa and Thatcher will continue to feud with GYV. Eventually, one of those guys will end up going after MSK after that. It's pretty. I mean, it's kind of obvious the way it's going to head down, but it's still solid stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this tag team division is already 1,000 times better than most tag team divisions in the world. So, it's definitely an interesting little back and forth here. You got feuds building, and what's the future of the tag team division is right here in front of us, and they're giving us the feuds that these are the feuds. Let's follow them and see how they go.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good stuff. I mean, they're good tag teams, so I'm excited to see how everything turns out. Next thing was Sarai versus Aaliyah. Quick little match. Sarai gets the win. That's pretty much all there is to it. Not much yet. Not much else to talk about. Yeah, they're building Sarai up. Eventually, she'll probably be a contender for that, NXT Women's Championship. Next thing, Hit Row makes their in-ring debut. It's Ashanti the Adonis and Top Dollar versus Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. Okay, so it's pretty much to showcase Hit Row, and AJ Francis looks solid. Top Dollar looks solid. He's a big dude, former NFL athlete, NFL pro, so he's got a lot of strength on him. He's tossing these guys around like nonstop at ease. So I mean, they look solid. We've already seen Adonis previously, so now we already know what we got there. You know what you got with Scott. Now, and the funny thing is, at the end of it, or interesting at the end of it, Swerve Scott says, "I don't care who wins this NXT North American Championship match, but I'm coming for you." So he's getting into that mid-tier title spot. So good for him.
Well, yeah, because now he has a team behind him. He's a leader of a stable, and it's good. And hey, they looked really good. I mean, that was the job of Nese and Daivari, was to put them so over, and they did a great job of it because both guys looked great. Top Dollar, hopefully him being around all those legends on the A&E show, he's picked some stuff up and is working as his big guy. So I'm looking forward to it. Last week was a little different. I don't know if I loved it last week, but this week they showed up. They stepped it up, and Swerve North American Championship picture. Why not?
Yeah, that's cool. Now, again, I have issues with AJ Francis being on the A&E, like Hidden Treasures, and he's kind of like happy-go-lucky and kind of like a mark, like, you know what I'm saying, like excited fan. Well,
he's a mark.
And then he's coming out here acting super hard and stuff like that, like, very that. But it's just,
I mean, it shows both sides, right? It shows that he can be the baby face, and he can be.
He's got a lot of range. There you go.
He's got some range. It's good. Does. And he raps and he beats the shit.
I'm just not a huge fan of the whole doing that and kind of breaking the fourth wall like that, and just I'm not a huge fan. But whatever.
I mean, that's 2021 wrestling. You're breaking the fourth wall for the last 5-10 years.
Exactly. So the next thing on the show was the big steel cage. Now, interesting, they brought the steel cage down rather than just kind of it being built and dropping it down. It kind of flapped down, right? It was like whoop, and it kind of dropped down. So I thought it was pretty cool, right? Cool way to do it. So Gargano and Bronson Reed for this championship with Austin Theory on the outside. He get involved a lot here and take a lot of bumps and all that stuff. But it's a tremendous match. They work very well with each other. Now it kind of buried the lead when you saw the Bronson Reed play up beforehand, like 14 years almost to the day where he's like debuted and now he's like making his way. So you kind of already felt that he was going to win this match. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not a huge fan of those things. If you, I mean, maybe because they did it.
Do that next week when you can explain to him, hey, this is a 14-year. Put it part of the promo,
Well, I mean, you can reference it during the match maybe, or in a promo previously really quickly, but to put so much focus on it, it kind of you feel like he's gonna win already, right? So I think they probably would have been better off keeping it on Gargano. But Reed is your new North American champion in a really good match between the two guys. Both guys look really good coming out of this. I think this frees up Gargano to go after Cross eventually for that NXT championship or Balor, but I'm assuming Cross holds on to the title. But a new NXT North American champion.
With the Tsunami, and that is your new North American champion.
I did like Austin Theory in this match. Took a lot of bumps. It was entertaining on the outside. Got involved a lot.
Just bumping all over the place.
Yeah, he did very good job out there. So we could see this feud maybe continue for a little bit, but I do think Gargano goes on to NXT Championship status after this.
Yeah, I mean, Reed had a hell of a colossal tussle with Gargano. He's had some matches. He's been in the picture of the North American Championship for a while. Has lost a few championship matches, and now he finally gets his shot. He's champ. They've been pushing him pretty well. I think slowly and surely, making sure that he's believable. And he's he's huge. He's a monster. He's King Kong. He's destroying things all over the place. So I'm excited for it. I love the fact that North American Championship switches so much. I feel like it should switch. It's kind of like the IC belt back in the 90s where it was switching between a group of, the more talented young guys that were coming up, and it's doing its job as elevating mid-card guys into main event guys. And I think that's the way the mid-card title should be, flipping hands, putting people over, and it's Bronson Reed's chance. And I mean, I'm not sure. The only thing that makes sense is him and Gargano maybe one more time, or him and Austin Theory, because there really isn't anybody else in the picture besides Swerve. But I think you could probably lay that in there for later on. Let him build that stable up a little bit more, make him a little, a bit more of a threat to Reed. So let's see what happens. But congrats to Bronson Reed. They booked him really well. I just like the fact that they did it slowly. They worked him. They had him in the picture for months and months and months, and then bam, on a Tuesday, randomly in a cage match, he beats Gargano.
Yeah, I mean, it's solid stuff. But like, again, the title needs to be hotly contested between these guys who are like in that range, but they have a lot of potential to kind of move up, and the title itself moves them up eventually. So I think it's smart stuff. Some people might complain, but Gargano is just there to kind of, he's already been an NXT champion. He's been a multiple North American champion. So he's there to hold the belt. Yeah, and then the guy who beats him gets it catapulted in front immediately. So that's what Bronson Reed. So already Bronson Reed is a contender for a future NXT championship spot.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And he's super believable. I mean, imagine a match between him and anybody, because he works well with smaller guys. He works well with big guys. Him and Karrion Kross, it's Kong versus Godzilla. I mean, it's a hell of a match.
It is, yeah. But guys, that's a review of tonight's episode of NXT. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. for news and rumors, and then after AEW Dynamite or AEW reaction and review to Dynamite. Appreciate you guys for tuning into this video. Make sure you drop a like on it, hit the chair in the corner before it hits you first, and sub to the channel notification bell. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Later, folks.